Yes, I would say nowadays with things like LinkedIn or even within the network of UCSF, I mean, besides myself, I'm sure there's a number of other folks that are sort of in the industry itself. I would recommend for students to consider networking. You yourself reaching out to me, I think this is a great opportunity because you're learning about this and you're going to extend this message on to your fellow classmates. And I think this is a great start because the more people are educated about this is another option for PharmD students, I think is great because at least from my perspective, the role of a pharmacist has really evolved. I think when I first started, it was really kind of one of two choices. You could either decide to go into retail pharmacy or you potentially go into clinical pharmacy, be a hospital pharmacist. And maybe even the AmCare side of things was starting to just, get established. It was still relatively early then. And that was sort of all, at least from what I remember, we were really exposed to. But then there's this whole side of industry where I think our expertise, and maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but I think our expertise to have that clinical background to understand all of the different disease areas, how medications work, puts PharmDs at a very nice advantage when it comes to whatever company you're working at, because most of the time you're specializing in a certain thing. It's not like, knowing a lot of different things, but you're specializing in certain therapeutic areas or certain therapeutics. And from that perspective, I think it's really helpful. But the more you talk to different people about it, because within industry, there are different roles. And if you can talk to myself, I've been in field-based. There's people that do medical strategy, there's medical information. So there's a lot of different opportunities that I think would be helpful for PharmDs to know so that they could be like, you know what, I really like one aspect of it, and they can explore it a little bit more. So things like the fellowship is probably one of the best things you can do. The second I would say that a lot of companies have are called summer internship programs. So our company where I work at right now, SpringWorks, we we actually instituted, I think, a summer internship program 2 years ago. So every summer we have, from like June to end of August, a couple of folks who are, interested in pursuing industry a little bit more, learning a little bit more about it. Some of them are first year or second year pharmacy students. And so they're getting like projects and gets them in the door and they have a better sense of what to expect once they get into a company. So I would encourage folks to, continue to look for those types of opportunities.
The only conflict that I imagine could arise is that the curriculum transition from a 4-year program to a
Mm.
3-year program at UCS.
Yep.
So there's some limitations with time.
That's actually a really good point because yeah, you mentioned a good point. I think, well, when I was going, it was still a 4-year program. So summers were usually what we used to spend to get our pharmacy practice hours, right? That we need to get signed off. So with you guys now going to sort of an all year round program, it might make it a little bit difficult. But I would say perhaps not a summer internship, but maybe certain companies in the Bay Area too might have opportunities to intern in some capacity, whether it's the winter or something else, like a break of some sort. I think those are definitely very possible. So I would definitely explore that.